Jambo mahali popote ulipo. This is Surveyor Peter Kawiro Maina, and I want to greet you Kenyans and people of diaspora where you are. I want to welcome you to this channel. Now this video is going to be posted in all the social media handles, on Facebook. It will be posted on Instagram, TikTok, and of course, the YouTube channel. I want to join in the conversation and the movement that is seeking to hold the government and its officials accountable. And as a surveyor, first of all, I want to thank Morara and his group for the great work they are doing to enlighten Kenyans on what is going on behind the scenes as far as government and government services is concerned. Now, in my view, now we always say knowledge is power, but I would want to refer to one of my best writers who says that knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is the power. And one of the things that is contributing to what is happening, or the rogue public officials are taking the advantage of the ignorance of the public and the common mwananchi. So there are so many things that we do not know. Yet when we go seeking for services from government, from the county offices and county officials, government, national government officials, we don't know, we have no clue, we lack the information. Therefore, we really don't know what our rights are as far as issues, various issues are concerned. Now, having practiced in the land and build sector as a land surveyor, I feel it's my burden to enlighten Kenyans and join the movement that is seeking to correct what is happening, and especially in the land sector. Now, there is a lot of studies that have been conducted by individuals who have interest in what is happening. Research papers have been written. If you go online and try to look for documents, journals that are talking about corruption in the land sector, specifically in our country, Kenya, you'll find numerous journals and articles regarding the same. Now, we are going to first of all start by defining what is land corruption or corruption in the land sector. I think in one way or another you have been involved, you have been a victim of corruption in one way or another at some point in the transactions involving land and immovable property and real estate. And a definition that I came across as I was preparing for this presentation is that corruption in the land sector can be defined as abuse of power or position, of course, within the realms of government, the public institutions, and there are reasons why individuals decide to be corrupt or they decide to support corruption in the land sector. One, for personal gains. Two, or the detriment of the public interest. And remember, we are defining land corruption in matters related to land administration and land allocation in our country, Kenya. So therefore, in one or another, in the land sector, you may have come across, or you may have found yourself in situations whereby a pursuit of corruption or proceed of corruption was practiced. Number one, corruption is very visible in land acquisitions. So people get land or acquire land illegally or in manner that is questionable. Two, there is what we call bribery in land transactions. And when you talk of land transactions, we are talking of surveying, we are talking of physical planning, We are talking of cartographers, or rather map making process, and of course, land registration. And then we have individuals in the public offices. For instance, we have the district land surveyors, we have the land registrars, we have the land administrators, and then we have cartographers and any other individuals related to the process of land administration. So most of them, you may find that there is misuse of public office. Now, this is mainly for personal gain. And for that, now what has happened, Kenyans, or most Kenyans, have lost trust with public offices, like the national government, the Ministry of Lands, the House, the Survey of Kenya, and of course, the county land offices. And for that reason, it is my pleasure to join the movement and to contribute to this big conversation in our country today regarding corruption. And I'm going to contribute. My contribution will come in as a land surveyor, practicing land surveyor. And therefore, I'm going to be addressing issues related to surveying, related to land administration. We have the land administration, we have a land administration officer, and also the registration process, where we have, sorry for that, it's an incoming call. So we have the registration. So we have the surveying, we have the land administration, we have the surveying, and also we have the mapping process. And of course, we have the land registration, where we have a land registrar who issues title deeds to various allocations or parcel numbers. Therefore, it is always important to look for solutions that address the causes. It is always important to know, because it is always good to know the cause. It is always good to address issues on the cause and effect principle. Okay? So if we use that principle, then we get the right solutions to the right problems. So therefore, it is always good to get the right causes. It is also always good to discuss the socio-economic implications of land corruption. And it's also very important to look for the most effective remedial strategies. What can be done? Ni nini hicho ambacho kinaweza kikafanyika bwana? Because what is happening in our country, it's alarming. Okay? We need to combine forces. We need to combine forces. And of course, we need to come together and join any other single person, individual in the country who is interested in addressing these issues as far as corruption in the land sector is concerned. So, some of the causes of corruption in the land sector, or factors that have contributed to the corruption issue in the land sector, is the discrepancies we find in land surveys and mapping. There's a lot of discrepancies. Unajua Mkenya wa kawaida haelewi surveyor ni nani. It's quite unfortunate ya kwamba this sector ya surveying, it has contributed so much in corruption in the land sector, because number one, Wakenya wengi hawajui who is a surveyor, because everybody, if you go to every county, every town, every small town in the village, utakuta maofisi nyingi za watu wanaoitwa surveyors. Now, do Kenyans know who is a surveyor and who is not? Ukiulizwa hivi Mkenya, nataka nikuulize swali. Surveyor ni nani? Utasema ni nani? How do you define a land surveyor? Now here, as I speak this time, watu wa Mungu na Wakenya wenzangu, if kama ujumbe huu utafikia mtu yoyote ambaye anakaa kwenye kamati ya Land Surveyors Board and the Institution of Surveyors Kenya, watu wa Mungu mahali popote mlipo, let us be patriotic. We have constitutionalized bodies kama Land Surveyors Board, a board that is mandated to regulate the practice of land surveying and so on and so forth. Therefore, do Kenyans know? Je, Wakenya wanajua kweli yule mama wa kijijini ama yule mzee anajua kweli who is a surveyor? Where are they supposed to go to in case they need surveying services? Now, so therefore, discrepancies in land surveying and mapping is one of the biggest contributor to land corruption in our country, Kenya. Now, what do we mean when we talk of discrepancies? Number one, we have inaccuracies. Okay, inaccuracies within land surveying. Now, what happens is when there is a lot of inaccuracy, either in the method of measurement methods, namna ya kupima mashamba na kadhalika, na zaidi sana before hata niende sana huko ndani katika swala hili, leo ningependa kama ingewezekana, ningependa jameni tuweze kujua kwamba how are we supposed to identify a surveyor and individuals who are calling themselves surveyors and are not. Maana hilo ni swala nyingi. Maana ukienda huku nje, you'll find a very big group of individuals calling themselves surveyors and yet they never went to school, hawakuingia shule ya mtu. They have never done a certificate in land surveying, they have no diploma in land surveying, they lack degrees in land surveying, they are not members of the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, ISK, they are not recognized by the Land Surveyors Board, and yet they are practicing. We call them brokers per se. So ukienda kila mahali, every town, kuna brokers wengi sana wanajiita land surveyors, lakini jameni, I want to warn you, utaumia sana. So it is very important then nichukue jukumu kama Mkenya ambaye angependa kuona mabadiliko katika nchi, nikijiunga na Morara Kebaso na wengine ya kwamba tuwe na mabadiliko. The first thing I would want us to do is to be able to know who are the surveyors. Surveyors ni akina nani? Because we have what we call the Surveyors Act of 2012. Kuna sheria ambayo ina regulate surveying and surveying processes in our country Kenya, inaitwa the Surveying Act of 2012. Na ukienda hapo katika Surveyors Act of 2012 imesema who is a surveyor and who is not a surveyor. Okay? Today I'm going to talk about private practicing land surveyors. Wale ambao wamefungua maofisi kila mahali. It is always important to know. Now, if I find someone, ama nikiingia kwa ofisi ya mtu, nisikia kwamba huyu ni surveyor and I need land surveying services, okay? Now, how do I know that I have entered ama have gone to the right person? Ni nini nitafanya? Ni ili niweze kujua. Number one, a land surveyor, ili mtu wa qualify kuwa land surveyor in our country Kenya, lazima aende shule, okay? Na jambo la kwanza, kuna watu wamefanya certificates in land surveying. Zamani hizo when we were schooling ourselves, hakukuwa na shule nyingi za land surveying. So some of us started from the Kenya Institute of Surveying and Mapping. That time I think there was JKUAT, there was Nairobi University and so forth, Technical University of Kenya. That time it was a college. Lakini sasa ukienda kila mahali, utapata ya kwamba in almost every town there is a college offering the course ya land surveying. So afanya diploma, afanya degree, afanya masters, afanya whatever level ambaye anataka kuja ni kufanya. Now surveyors wale ambao wameruhusiwa kupractice privately, nataka tusikizane kwa makini. We have one group called the licensed surveyors, and then we have the approved assistant surveyors. So licensed surveyors and approved assistant to licensed surveyors. Now those are people who unaweza pata wamefungua ofisi na wameruhusiwa kufanya kazi kwa njia hiyo. Now an approved assistant to a licensed surveyor basically ni muajiriwa wa, he is an employee of the licensed surveyor. Tuko pamoja. Na mtu maybe amegraduate lakini hajafika level ya kuwa approved assistant. We encourage, kama wewe umeenda shule na you are calling yourself a surveyor, before you start kukatakata mashamba ya watu, register with the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. Number 2, you'll be recommended to be an approved assistant to a certain licensed surveyor who is given a practicing license number by the Land Surveyors Board. Kwa hivyo, land surveyor ambaye anaweza sasa, ambaye hata akikosea unaweza ukachukua hatua ya kisheria, lazima awe member katika Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. Okay? Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. Apewe practicing number huko. And then atakuwa na nyingine. Hiyo namba atakayopewa kwa ISK, atakuwa na barua nyingine kutoka kwa Land Surveyors Board ya kwamba the principal ambaye ni licensed surveyor, the senior surveyor to that surveyor, ameruhusiwa kumwajiri kama an approved assistant kwa huyo surveyor. So tuko na approved assistant surveyor na tuko na the licensed surveyor. Now those are two groups of land surveyors who practice privately. Lakini pia unaweza ukakuta huku nje kuna surveyors ambao walikuwa wanafanya kwa government kitambo, they are retired, lakini wamefikia kwamba they retired from government, lakini anaweza akafanya kazi kidogo kidogo. So you may find some small offices with the elderly people ambao walikuwa practicing surveyors as district surveyors and so on and so forth. Ukienda kwa kila land registry, ukija huku Kirinyaga, Embu, popote Murang'a, utakuta wamama wamejaajaa huko kwa land registry wakijifanya watu wa kukusaidia katika masuala ya mashamba. Do not be conned, do not be doomed. Number one, huyo surveyor lazima akupatie ikiwa ni approved assistant to a licensed surveyor, lazima akupatie ISK number yake ya kazi, ile ambayo alipewa wakati alikuwa registered under the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya. Okay? And then you go to the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya website na uangalie status ya hiyo namba. Always ask, akupatie jina na akupatie namba yake ya kazi. Ukiingia kwenye huo mtandao wa ISK, there's a place you click ya kuangalia details za surveyors ambao wako registered within that body. Na hiyo body iko na surveyors, iko na architects, iko na valuers, iko na estate agents. Hao wote wanakuwa katika one professional body, and then of course kila group sasa inakuwa register baadaye katika respective constitutionalized bodies za serikali. Kama sasa yetu kama surveyors yetu inaitwa Land Surveyors Board. Akikupatia hiyo from the system, you'll find the status. Number one, unaweza pata ako active kama amerenew practicing certificate of good conduct ya mwaka huo, atakuwa active. Anaweza kuwa hajarenew, atakuwa inactive. Na ukipata haumpati either through the name ama through the number, basi huyo mtu si surveyor na hustahili kumpatia kazi yoyote akufanyie ya survey, maana hana ruhusa ya kufanya survey work popote pale. Huyo mtu anaweza kuwa hajaenda shule. And for those who wanataka kuwa brokers, jameni, there is a body inaitwa EARB, Estate Agent Registration Board. Mtu anataka kuwa estate manager ama estate agent, you can register with that body ili uwe legit, ili uwe umefanya mitihani ya kutosha, fanyishwe mitihani, upewe barua ya kupractice kama an estate manager ama a broker ambaye anatambulika, mtu ambaye anafanya kazi yake kwa uzuri. So number one, discrepancies tunazozipata katika land surveying and mapping leo ama katika hii video, ningetaka ujue we have so many people outside there wanajiita surveyors and they are not. They are not land surveyors. They are not recognized under ISK, the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, and neither are they recognized under the Land Surveyors Board katika nchi. And for that reason, Wakenya kwa kutojua wanaanguka katika mikono isiyofaa na kazi inakuwa ngumu, kazi inakuwa na disputes, kazi inakuwa na makosa mengi tu, na sometimes wengine wanakoniwa hata pesa because huyo mtu utaenda kumtoa wapi? So nafikiri Mkenya mwenzangu, tukifikia hapo, I think this is a conversation we are going to have most of the times, lakini for the purpose of this video, we are going to make it a little bit short, and then we are going to make more videos on the same. So leo and in a few other videos, we are going to discuss about these discrepancies ambazo tunapata katika land surveying and mapping. So today, ningetaka tu ujue kwamba there are so many people who are calling themselves surveyors outside there, and they are not surveyors at all. Tuko pamoja? So, it is always good to know who is a land surveyor. Nimesema narudia bottom line. Ask for his practicing number. Okay? Either atakuwa na namba ya Institution of Surveyors of Kenya, and then as an approved assistant to a senior surveyor, ambaye huyo senior surveyor wake ako registered under the Land Surveyors Board na ako na practicing number ambayo amepewa. Now, a good surveyor, of course I know there could be other surveyors. Nitaongea kuhusu registered surveyors who are also wrong people. Watu ambao wanafanya vituko tu for their personal gains. So ndugu zangu, Wakenya wenzangu, mahali popote ulipo, ukipata hii video, julisha mtu, always inquire who is a surveyor, kwa sababu sasa watu wamelia sana. Old mothers, people are crying outside there because of being conned na kazi zao kufanywa kwa njia isiyofaa. So I'm thankful. Now Kenyans, let us talk about these things. Let us enlighten our brothers and sisters. Ukipata ujumbe huu, share with others. Na ukipata nafasi, let me encourage you. Any professional who is listening to me this time, ninaomba hivi, katika hiyo knowledge ambayo Mwenyezi Mungu amekupatia njia ukaipata, it is always good to impact the society by sharing the information. Give the information for free. Ukiambia watu kuhusu land surveying processes, they not become surveyors, no, but you'll be empowering them ili wanapoenda kupeana hizi services, they are able to know what is required of them and what is required of the service provider who is calling himself land surveyor. So huyo ni surveyor wako Peter Kariru Maina ama Surveyor Kariru. Namba yetu ya simu ni 0711499788 na utaipata hapo kwenye video yako. Kama utakuwa na swali, information is free, consultation is always free, na tukiupatia kazi be guaranteed ya kwamba tutakufanyia kazi safi. Real estate guys, tunahitaji ukihitaji services, we are here, na tunaahidi ya kwamba we are going to give you better quality and affordable land surveying services. Again, unaweza ukatutafuta kwa website yetu www.mapandscalesurveys.co.ke www.mapandscalesurveys.co.ke for more information. Tukutane wakati mwingine. Barikiweni Wakenya wenzangu, na let us pray for our brothers and sisters who are talking about these issues, who are holding government officials and government and individuals and service providers and professionals accountable for what they are doing for the purpose of our country, for the purpose of the betterment of our country. Let us join the movement and talk about these issues. God bless you and God bless Kenya.